terrorism, job creation, immigration. These are all issues we've heard about in the 2016 presidential campaigns. However, prison reform is one issue we haven't heard about. Because of the voting restrictions on current and former offenders, they have no political voice, despite 2.2 million people being in prison or jail. We need to work to reduce recidivism, or the percentage of offenders reincarcerated. The United States has one of the highest rates of incarceration in the world, and 2/3 of prisoners are rearrested within 3 years of release.
A lot of states' recidivism rates for juveniles hover between 50, 60, up to 75%, either rearrested, re-adjudicated for a new delinquent offense, or actually reincarcerated.
However, not everyone agrees that recidivism is important. A professor in criminal justice, Bob Feliciano, responds to an article advocating rehabilitation in the LA Times.
The true crime is how much money is wasted each year by PhDs doing criminal justice research, such as the opinions of the two authors in this article. Recidivism, and in particular rehabilitation, in California has always been a joke in our law enforcement communities. The truth is that for the majority of criminals who recidivate, family life is prison.
When compared to currently talked about issues like ISIS and national debt, many people are inclined to give recidivism a lower priority level than it deserves. Recidivism's importance lies in 3 areas. First, the economic toll high recidivism rates take on our country.
This is a deeply troubling financial issue. Despite the challenges facing our country, we will pour $74 billion, with a B, into corrections this year. Look at how it's grown over the last 30 years, robbed largely from the public education sector.
It costs a lot to imprison somebody. If you guys haven't thought about that, that is 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. You're feeding, clothing, you're providing medical care for this population. You're doing everything for them. That's a lot of money. It's cheaper just to educate them. It will be cheaper to send them through a 4-year college than it is keeping them incarcerated.
Reducing recidivism will mean that significantly less money needs to be spent on the prison system. Potentially, millions of dollars can be saved.
It means less money spent on incarceration. It means less wasted taxpayer money. It means police aren't having to arrest the same folks over and over again, and you get a virtuous cycle.
Second, recidivism affects every community, and reducing the number of reincarcerated prisoners will make the country safer and more productive.
Would it be smart to invest in reducing recidivism? Yes, it would make us safer. The bottom line is most people who are incarcerated are going to get out. They're going to get out, they're coming back to your neighborhood, and you want them to come back changed. You don't want them to come back the same person. If jail or prison is simply a holding cell while they're actually learning more about crime, then they're going to come out worse.
The goal of prison should be to rehabilitate prisoners to the point they become contributing members of society, instead of a drain on financial resources. Finally, reducing recidivism will benefit citizens of our country who have been ignored. All but 2 states prohibit prisoners from voting, meaning that politicians have little motivation to push legislation that would help them. As a result, 2.2 million are unrepresented in our government.
They're leaving prison or jail to go where? Some of them don't have a place to go. Some of them, their only place they can go is back into a very abusive situation. And they're having to restart their life with emotional baggage that I can't even understand how deep it is.
Candidates in the 2016 presidential race need to be discussing recidivism so that voters can take their stance on prison reform into consideration during the primary and general elections. Candidates need to decide if they will support rehabilitation programs, in-prison education, and job training. If candidates discuss the issue and their stances on it, then the public will be able to hold them accountable once they are in office, making sure that promises are kept to fund these vital programs. These groups have a considerable impact on reducing recidivism.
Higher education in prisons is the most effective means of basically eliminating recidivism or reducing it drastically. In our case, it reduces recidivism for graduates to less than 2%.
Our success rate is that 5% of our guys go back to prison compared to the 50% national average.
Although a variety of programs currently exist, they all face some of the same problems. What resources do you feel that your program would benefit from having more of?
Well, we could always use more money.
There's never enough money.
More of everything they already have.
This is an issue that demands discussion. Ignoring the failing prison system will not make the problem go away. Reducing recidivism will have an impact on many areas of American society, and reducing the problem starts with changing how we think about it.
We're still, as a country, many of us are still in punishment mode, and we've really got to be more in reform and rehabilitation, because they're still people. That's the biggest thing.
We humans have a real easy time of writing somebody off, putting them in the box, almost calling them non-human, and now we don't have to deal with them anymore.